Yes, that's the agenda, yes.
Help yourself, help yourself. All righty, call to order, Royal Palm Beach Strikers soccer meeting, May 20th, 2025. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty, so you said called to order 6:32 p.m. Roll call, myself, Mal Hassan, Treasurer Amy Santiago.
Here.
Board Member Fernando Casale.
Here.
And Vice President Vanessa Donadio will be joining us momentarily. She's running a little behind. Reading and approval of previous month's meeting minutes. Did anybody have an opportunity to read them?
No, she just.
Okay, so we will shelf the minutes from last month's meeting for next month. Until next month, President's report, DOC report regarding the recreation fall season recap. The season went well. The playoffs were actually pretty exciting. We had a few very exciting contests that went into penalty kicks. Trophies were awarded. All in all, I believe it was a very successful season. Our numbers were up this past season, and we had quite a bit of positive feedback regarding the season from not only the parents but the players also. Treasurer's report for the recreation program. Amy?
Okay, so for the rec checking, the beginning balance was $105,908.74, ended with $92,393.67. I will show you the numbers. You can't hear that? The savings account started with $10,683.71, ended with $10,684.06. There's the numbers.
Anybody like to make a motion to accept?
Motion to accept the checking account amount is $105,908.74, ending at $92,393.67. Our savings account is $10,683.71, ending at $10,684.06.
I second that.
All righty, the treasurer's report for the month of April 2024 will be accepted and approved. For 2025 will be accepted and approved. Registrar and referee report, Shinoy Ragaraj, our registrar and referee assigner, is not present. So that will have to be shelved until our next board meeting. Open comments from our membership regarding the recreation program. Does anybody have any open comments regarding?
Absolutely a great program. I had fun coaching both seasons, enjoyed it. It was a great experience, and the kids were phenomenal.
All right, great, great. That's good to hear that. Good to hear that. Anyone else? Anything else? For the recreation program, our registration is available online currently. If you go on there, you're going to see the link for fall 2025 recreation season. If you do it with, now for the next maybe 2-3 weeks, we have the early registration discount. Saves yourself about $20 or so. You might want to take advantage of that this season, and we're going to go through that in a little while. We're going to be starting a little earlier this season. We normally start the first week of September, but we're going to be moving it up into August this season. So, Evan, and everything, if you have any question, our numbers are online, everything, feel free to call, whatever, and we're more than happy to help you out. All righty? All right. Unfinished business. I was going to ask about trophies and uniforms. I just wanted to see what the inventory, if there's any surplus from the spring season with regards to any of the recreation. Anybody?
Not much with the spring season. I think we had probably about 9 to 12 of each of
You're
the
talking
trophies.
trophy, yeah.
Yes,
But uniforms, there's,
yes, uniforms, there's surplus.
Quite a bit.
She normally uses it for like the next season if we add.
We need to
Use the same
count
ones?
them, and what we do is we reduce the numbers of teams for next season.
All right.
Don't matter if we change the style,
Right.
we just give, 1 or 2 or 3 teams, whatever uniform we have, less.
So we're that far over.
No, normally we make about 1 to 2, maybe 3 teams out of it, depending on,
We need to check it out by colors and all that, the sizes.
yeah.
All right.
medal-wise,
All right. Just
we,
because I'd like to make that process a little bit more efficient. I just feel like we're not paying as close enough attention to things as we should be. And again, we're going to go over that in the board meeting, but we're going to initiate a few things, hopefully to just put a little tighter control on the way that our expenses are. Field day, field update for planning purposes for the fall season. Ron, I know I had went in and I'd spoken with Mark a couple of weeks, I forget even when it was. Still really wasn't sure as to a start time. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to be proactive. So in the event it's as we were told initially, this may give us enough time to finish the entire season. So what I've got planned is us starting the fall season on August 12th,
That's the games, right?
practices. That's 3 weeks early than we normally start the season.
No, we start at mid of August.
We
The first
usually
game
have
is,
2
the
weeks
first
of
game is the
practice.
first week of September.
I'm sorry?
The first game is always the first week of September.
And practices
guys
start
are-
2
you
weeks
guys are-
prior to that. So
Guys are
this is
saying
not-
yes, but we sat up here and argued last time.
Yeah,
Because you
and-
guys said it wasn't, and it's,
No, you're misremembering.
all right, I'll look at the calendar and do a date. It's going to be either the first weekend or the second weekend in August. I think the first weekend's too early. The second week of August is what it should be.
We're gonna need to start playing 2 or 3 Sundays.
And we'll double up. We will double up to get the season in. There'll be some weekends where we'll play on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay?
And then to ensure that we have the 10-game season and the full playoffs, we'll make it work, whatever the case might be. Yeah, I mean, let's try and figure it out. I was trying to figure it out. I was, let me
Listen,
just look at something.
the only thing is that, when, let's say at the day that we have the meeting, the reg meeting, we need to see if, you guys have any date, so we can, be sure when we can finish. Because like I said, I can use normally we use 1 Sunday, we can use 2 or 3, and I don't want to use Sundays that we don't need it. You know what I mean?
All right.
But everything is gonna be based on whatever day you guys have at that point, if you have any.
Okay, so this past season, our rec parent meeting was on August 31st.
No way.
I mean,
Oh, the rec parent meeting, but that was. did we
before
start?
you start.
That was 1 week before.
that
the
was
first game.
before the first
1 week,
games.
1 week. It's already 1 week in practice.
So that would have been September 7th would have been our first game. So starting it 2 weeks early, our first game would still be in August,
Listen,
in August 12th.
we are okay with that, just like I said, depending on what day we need to be out of the fields. It's gonna be how many Sundays we use.
So Ron, if you guys can keep that in mind with regards to the maintenance program, that we're definitely going to be needing it in, let's just say for easiness, let's just say the first week of August. And, technically, the fields can get shut down and the maintenance can start up right now. And in the event that, I know once our competitive teams start up, I've been working on all kinds of things, trying to assure them, proper spacing. And I know that you guys have been always fantastic, providing us any additional fields out there that we, may be able to use. So, but just to give you guys an idea for maintenance time, just to, because they were beat up pretty bad. All right, new business. This our AGM. This normally when the board of directors elections take place. They were posted last month for this evening at 6:30 at the Village Meeting Hall, which is this place. Two positions that were up for election were the president position and the treasurer position. Nominees for the president were myself, Malik Hassan, running unopposed, and for the treasurer's position, Amanda Lamb was running unopposed also. Due to the unopposed positions, I guess that I will retain the presidency, and the treasurer's position will be moved from Amy Santiago to Amanda Lamb. And I want to thank Amy for her years and her efforts and her energy as the treasurer of the program. I know it's not an easy position, and thank you for everything you did while holding that role. Appointment of soccer board positions. So this one was sitting down and just thinking about how our program has grown tremendously and how important it is moving forward for us to be as efficient as possible and to have as many hands on board as possible. So first, I'd like to thank Rose Wilson for the past year, all of her work and the time that she has spent as a volunteer on our board. And I'd also like to thank Corinne Witt, not so much for this past year because she really did nothing, but for her previous work as a volunteer on the board. And earlier, I believe in the season, Dave Corson had resigned from the board. So in lieu of all that, I will be appointing some new board positions. First board position I would like to appoint would be for Bill Pinto. He's currently one of our rec coaches, along with his wife, and they have been for the previous 12 months, which would make him eligible. And if anybody is opposed to that, please.
No, I second that
Bill?
motion.
Okay.
All right. And we're going to do things a little bit differently. When you're on the board, you actually have to do things. And it's not just, hey, I'm on the board. People are actually going to be assigned tasks like it was in the old days, because that's the way it should be. Bill, I'm going to have Bill be in charge of our competitive program scheduling. And I'm also going to have him head our level 2 background check process. And he will confirm, and then I will sign off on all of our volunteers that they do in fact complete the level 2 thing. So Bill, if you'd like, come on up and welcome to the board.
Does that mean I'll get a nice big raise?
Yeah. welcome to the world of volunteer.
Sucks the life right out of you.
My next appointment, my next two appointments actually are not present today. However, I've discussed with them the role in which I would like them to take charge of moving forward. Have Diego Capella, which is one of our coaches, our competitive team coaches, and he's been with our program as a rec coach and a competitive coach for, I'd say, at least the last 8 years. He's done an outstanding job. He has done a lot of things behind the scenes to help our program, and he's assisted me in so many different capacities. Diego's responsibility, he will be in charge of all website related matters, content, keeping it up to date. Organization. He usually does the coach photos and the biographies, so he'll continue to do that, but now in official capacity. So Diego Capella will be added to the board. So if we can get a motion on that.
Motion to accept Diego Capella on the board as our website coordinator.
I second that.
All righty. And lastly, my last appointment, at least tonight, there will be others probably next board meeting, but the last one for tonight is going to be Rocco Ferriolo. Rocco has been with our program for, again, about 8-9 years. 3 kids in the program, all in the recreation program. Spoke with Rocco. Rocco is going to be our field coordinator with regards to goals, keeping everything organized out on the field. So things are done prior to games, after games. He will be the field guy. And when I come up with a better name than field guy, that will be his official title. Field coordinator, there you go. That sounds great. All righty.
The grass guy,
Grass guy.
the goal guy.
Grass-
Hey, that means I need to pass the key.
So if somebody would like to, and everybody knows Rocco,
Yep.
if somebody would like the motion for Rocco.
Put in a motion to accept Rocco Ferriola as our new field maintenance manager.
Second that.
I like field coordinator better, but I will go ahead with that also. Yeah, I still like field guy.
All right, field guy.
All right, and moving forward, and whether it's a newly appointed member to the board or one of our current board members, there will also be a person now that will be, their sole responsibility will be leading up, heads up concussion course requirement and the safe sport requirement that is required for all of our volunteers. Additionally, I will be seeking a concession person. That member has to be on the board as stated in bylaws. So that's something that we're going to have to discuss. But I know Amy's familiar with it, but we're going to go in a different direction. And we're going to start fresh, and we're going to do a bunch of different things with the concession. And we're going to make that one of our big income-producing areas in the club. And I know that speaking with Rocco, he had a lot of great ideas that we'd like to probably institute in the concession. Just some additional ideas, and it's always good to have new eyes and new thoughts for any endeavor that we go for. So, and if you see the last thing in new business, and again, it's a shame that this has to be actually added and like put in ink, because I always just assumed it was common sense. But all future appointments to be made will be based on needed tasks to be performed, not because somebody would just like to be on the board and hang out and say, I'm on the board. People are going to actually start doing things on the board. Otherwise, there's really no reason for that. We've got a very large club. We've got a lot of people that would love to help volunteer and help the program grow. Recreation adjournment, if we can get an emotion on that.
Motion.
All right, would somebody like to make a show of will?
I was not good at this either. Motion to adjourn the recreational portion of the meeting at 6:50 PM.
All righty, recreation portion of the board meeting is adjourned. Call to order the competitive portion of the board meeting at 6:50 PM. President's report and DOC report. A couple of things I wanted to talk about this past season. Technically, it's not past. It still has about another week or two left in it. Our U14 boys and our U17 boys both had very successful Florida State Premier League results, great performances throughout the year. The U14 boys team actually ended up, I think they ended up in first place in the standings, but they fell short in the playoffs. And they lost in the semifinals, whereas our U17 boys team, which ended up fourth in the regular standings, ended up winning the Premier League at the U17 level. Both of those teams, because of their performance, became eligible to compete in the National League Sunshine Conference, which is the highest level league that you can play in the state of Florida under U.S. Youth Soccer. So really happy about that. Who would have thought, right? I'm sorry? Oh, yes, that's right. That was FSPL. I'm sorry. U13 boys black also competed in the Florida State Premier League, and they actually lost on Sunday in the finals. Not sure if we're going to have them play any higher up than they're playing up currently, but at least we know the two will be in the National League. Tryouts, arguably not even arguably, without a doubt, the most successful tryouts our program's ever had. I don't even know the numbers. The numbers were like 5-something, but
584.
584, and then people just show up.
Yes.
So
I can tell you that I still receive calls today for trying.
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's over 600 kids, came out for our competitive tryouts, which is fabulous. And hopefully we can continue not only our growth, but the quality of our program. Really excited with our growth and our upcoming facility upgrade. It'll be hard pressed finding a program, hopefully, that people would want to be part of. And I'd like to think we do things the right way over here. We don't buy our players with the quote unquote scholarships. We don't recruit from other clubs. We try to build from within our recreation program. A lot of things that we do aren't really the norm. And I know when we went back in that direction in 2012, I was ridiculed. And everybody said that was a competitive program suicide when we went from 12 teams and we got rid of 10 of them and said we're going to start with U9 and U10, and we are going to build from within our recreation program. Everybody says it can't be done. It can't be done with quality teams. It's going to be a watered-down program. And here, years later, we're over 20 teams and just moving along fine. So that's about that. Treasurer's report for the competitive program.
Okay,
I'm sorry? Yeah, we had 25 teams this past year. So we're moving along, and we're hoping this season's even better. And we're hoping we get some kind of discount from the village. So, hey, you guys are doing a great job, discount.
little plug in. Okay, so competitive checking started at 189,965.33, ended with 147,159.94. The savings started at $50,049.60, ended with $50,051.25. The stipend account started with $769.59, ended at $39,223.75.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report checking account starting at $189,965.33, ending at $147,159.94. Our savings account started at $50,029.60, ending 49. 5004, okay.
Would have made 20 bucks. No, that's not right.
Ending at $50,051.25. Our stipend started at $769.59, can't read my own handwriting, and ended at $39,223.75.
Well, can we have a motion first to accept that?
I
That
made
was
the
that?
motion, yeah.
All right, and then
Did I screw that up?
I second that.
thinking of something else, my fault. Treasurer's report for the competitive program for May 2025 will be accepted and approved. We will skip over all that. Any open comments from membership regarding our competitive program?
Wait, can I clarify? This is the May meeting, but the amounts were for April. You said for May.
Okay,
So,
my mistake
just-
again.
No, he
Let
didn't.
me, for.
He just said approved for May, and it's the April amounts, so just to
Let-
clarify.
Let me make it on record then, that
Yeah.
the April 2025 Treasurer's Report for the competitive program has been accepted and approved. Unfinished business, so the competitive program for next season and our slam tournament for next season is at the mercy of
The
the
field.
village. So our slam tournament, we've had for 2 years now. This will be our third year. Each year we've had it the first week of December. We're hoping, if, as initially stated, the project beginning in October, we're hoping that would be enough time for us to actually, in fact, have that tournament on that date. I'm almost wondering if we find a different week.
I'd have to know right away so I can update.
I'm going to say let's move it. Let's move it.
What, beginning of the year?
Yeah, sometime after January, because I don't see it happening before the first weekend of December.
All right, we'll have to look and see what's
Yeah,
going
we'll
on.
look at a different date. Unfinished business, again, we spoke about the upcoming level 2 background requirements. It's going to be a new process, so that we're going to have to get an efficient process, an efficient way of doing it. Yeah, I know Bill, I have all the faith in the world in Bill with his ideas and what he brings to the table with that.
I can tell you the difficulties right now is the fact that FDLE, who has to approve all of the background checks that FYSA sends up,
they're expecting 10,000 between coaches, volunteers, referees, and everyone else. They currently started doing some of the background checks for some of the clubs that are running right now, even though the requirement hasn't come in place, and they're backlogged 30 to 45 days right now, and they haven't even had the bulk of stuff.
Because technically, you're not
That's
supposed to
gonna start
submit them until
till
July
June.
1st, I think it is, so.
I'll have updated dates from Joe on that, hopefully by the end of the week, but we're going to have to get a process in place to get that moving as soon as we get our people in place, because it's going to take a while to get them back.
All righty. All right, good. Coaches' appointments. I've appointed coaches for our competitive program, with the exception of one team. Correct?
Yeah, maybe 2.
Yep. No.
CDP?
Yeah, possibly. Possibly. 1 to 2 coaches are still needed. I'm looking around. Teams have been created. What we're thinking we're going to have for teams, plus maybe 1 to 2 more on a wish list. That's a pretty big wish list, though. Again, we've come to a point now where it's not about the size of the program. I'm more concerned with creating quality teams that represent not only our program, but the village of Royal Palm Beach, as opposed to saying we have X number of teams and have them all watered down and just making the program look bad. So, again, I believe we're doing things properly. Like to just, not only maintain that. They say making teams is easy. Maintaining teams is the difficult part. So let's continue doing the work needed so that we can maintain the quality program that we've built.
Did you say how many you might have, or?
Nah, not yet.
Okay.
New business, team rosters. Vanessa, I know Vanessa has sent out invitations to the coaches and/or managers of all of our competitive teams so that they could forward those to the players that were selected during tryouts. And now it's a matter of waiting and seeing how many of those invites are actually accepted before we're able to determine the number of kids in the program and for us to create actual full team rosters. Moving forward, Seminole, I've been meeting with the Palm Beach County folks, Parks and Recreation, regarding permitting at Seminole. I am trying to obtain usage over the summer, which they have been very kind to us because of the time that we have, I guess grandfathered in or whatever you want to call it. So they're being very accommodating to us, hopefully. Seminole, for those of you who haven't been over there lately, not only has, the grass, all the fields have been redone and leveled out and everything, there's now an exterior fence that surrounds all of the fields. There'll be, I believe there's only going to be 4 keys issued. And when I say only 4 keys issued, that's for each program out there. The key that I have, I do not plan on using. And the reason I won't be using that is because we're going to have people, at least the soccer people, going around to the back side of Seminole and utilizing that back parking lot where the actual entrance is. And then this way I won't be responsible for opening or shutting the gates or anything like that. It'll be used for emergency purposes only. I'm not going to come after every practice, locking gates or whatever. The football folks, they have a key. The adult league has a key, and I believe it's a lacrosse. They have the key. Outside of that, nobody else has a key. Additionally, we are going to go back to the old days where we have access to turning on and off the lights at Seminole. So that will be a very good way when we close the field down because of the lightning and all of that. We'll be able to turn the lights off. They've also got a whole process or procedure for people being out there that are not permitted. And the rangers, you know, that's what they do. They're going to respond as quickly as possible to remove people from the fields that shouldn't be on the fields. And I know my biggest complaint previously over at Seminole was when we would respect the fields, whether the lightning alarm was going off or not, simply to preserve the fields, we would cancel practices, pull everybody off, and then I would drive by and I'd see a whole nother group out there beating the fields up on the soccer program that aren't part of the soccer program. So hopefully with the fence and the lighting situation, those issues will be eliminated, if not minimized. Here's a new one. So all purchases, regardless of amount, must be approved by myself prior to spending, okay? This is gonna ensure oversight of spending. This goes for recreation and competitive. So from here on out, we don't get approval after the fact. We get approval before the fact, whether or not the purchase is to be made. That's from trophies to uniforms to concession items to anything. Any penny that is spent in this program will now be monitored. I'm not going to say monitored. Everything, I would like to know every penny that is leaving our program prior to it being spent.
Say prior authorization.
Prior authorization. That's
PO, you want to start a PO system?
PO system, just something documentation. Also, we're going to have to arrange for a meeting at the bank for some new signers. The only two signers will be myself and the treasurer. Vanessa may be included on that as the vice president because I know there's going to be instances because we require the two signatures. It may be easier to have a third person involved with that. But again, this is just oversight and for the protection of the program and for all of the individuals involved in the program. Is everybody cool with that?
I think you do need a third, though.
All right.
Vanessa.
All right, so we'll figure that out, but we'll have to talk about it. Everybody's going to have to go to the bank and so that we can change the signers and all of that stuff. Let's see what else. And while we're up, I mean, the debit card or whatever for the bank, I mean, I don't even need one. I mean, the only time I use it is when I pay.
Recommended. I'm just telling you from experience from working with other clubs. The responsibilities are great. I would not recommend a debit or a credit card for the organization
At all.
at all. Go with the two check signer system, with the pre-authorization. That'll save you a lot of headaches down the line. And the accountants will tell you that too if you were filing your stuff, because the problem when you get the authorization stuff is most of the time they want you to put up a $5,000 binder, most of the banks. So
Just not sure how we make payment on certain things there, like our online
Things that we make payments
things.
online.
where the treasurer has it, and you can actually set it up with amounts that you can control. The only two things, and that's just professional advice.
All right, and we'll figure all of that out. We'll figure it out, but something needs to change on it. I mean, so, does anybody have anything? Actually, I have one thing, Ron, would you be able to, either yourself or Brandon, one of you come up with the invoicing for any monies that are owed to the village? Because I would like
Yeah, before the end of
zero
May.
debt to the village. I don't like owing anybody anything ever.
Yeah.
Would be even better.
Yeah, and if you
What was that
guys want to do, you guys are doing a great job, discount on those, feel free to do that also. That's it. Anything else?
Like I told you, I stopped by the fields. I assuming that we're gonna need to change the wires and the locks for next season.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, not just for a.
I find out like
the
a two of them are cut it.
Yeah. And it's, you know, before it used to be, you know, people sharing a key or making a copy and this and that. After messing with them this past month, you know, I really haven't touched the goals in years. The locks are horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you one of the reasons why is because your coaches,
They
they
leave it on the
open it, they
ground.
throw on the floor, they lost them, or, you know, because of the rain or whatever, they get wet, nobody cares, you know?
So, you know, the combination thing was pretty cool, but the combination would be exposed too many times. And the dials
Wouldn't work, but the
move
same thing,
properly.
yeah.
So we went back to the key method, issued the keys out,
Well,
and it's
listen,
like the
the only-
keys, like the locks stick, like they don't, you got to beat the heck out of
The
them.
only I can tell you is when I go over there and I open the goals, I normally grab it, put it in the back of the net, lock them up. I never have a problem. So I understand what hard it is
All right,
for coaches to do the same thing.
all right.
It take only 30 seconds.
Not even.
You take it from here,
Wheels
put it
now,
here.
well, but plus with the wheels, moving the goals and everything, returning them, locking them out, it shouldn't be a big deal anymore.
You should be able to get the security
So
rated locks
we
that are
will,
weather resistant
we will
too.
have our new field coordinator,
Guy.
actually, he'll be on top of that. Rocco will do a great job with
Oh, and
that.
listen, and I hope this is the last season we have these problems, right?
I'm hoping to, because if
The
our wish list that we had made up, if there's a way to somehow have either pads on the side, like cement pads on the side of the field where the goals can be placed and locked,
Well,
or
well.
if we can have some type of,
Well,
no, I'm saying with the turf.
With the turf, technically, half of the goals is not gonna be moved from the position.
Well, the goals won't have to be moved from the position if there's an exterior fence
Correct.
that surrounds the field. That would
That's gonna
save,
prevent, you know,
that would
people-
save everything. I mean, we don't have to move the goals, there's no cement pads, no storage area for the goals.
Just pull them back.
Just
and lock.
one big fence like they kind of have at Seminole now, and that
Run
does the
off with
job.
them.
It does the job, you know, if,
The only problem with that is, remember, if we have like, remember, when they do the turf, they need to have the layout for field 1 and 2 for the
Yes.
U12 and U10 for the tournament. So
Yeah.
that goals need to have an area where we can put it because we're not gonna use it normally.
we'll have a little area for that, that won't be an issue.
Put it by the fence
If
like
you
you've been.
you guys provide the fence, and we'll get the generator with the electricity for the fence, and,
Thank you for having the sink fixed. The only thing is they still, the outlet on the outside underneath our sign is still not working.
And now, keep in mind, when all this happen, that's gonna be better because all the parents gonna be outside the fields. So it's not gonna be contact parents or no parents with kids that we have an issues.
I think it's good.
Nobody
It's a good,
talk
like,
to-
it's a good safety thing, too, good safety
Nobody's
thing.
gonna be able to approach the referees, you know, between games and all that. So it's gonna be a win-win for everybody. Nobody come and approach coaches.
I don't know if I'm sold on having people watch a game from the other side of the fence.
Outside, well, we limit it.
I mean, watching a game
Everybody drop
through
the
a
kids and
fence?
go.
Like, that's horrible.
Like
no, we
Gardens,
still
Gardens
have
has the
our-
fence, you know, and you
Yeah,
go
can
into the
lock
fence,
up.
you
But
watch
When
it.
they watch a game, you sit on the sidelines, and
No, outside.
Stop it.
Listen. have-
No, but when you throw them out, they can be on the other side of the fence.
Alcatraz over here.
Now that you ask in the city, no, have bleachers higher.
Higher bleachers
Yeah.
on the
They can
outside.
see it. Nothing goes, so nobody's jumping in.
Yeah, so somebody falls off, and then we have no more soccer program.
How many fields we go and you are outside the fence?
None.
I
I don't have any. I think
there
one in
many?
Miami.
I know that.
The travel, no, but there are some things that as a club we can discuss later on that you can do to minimize the interactions between the parents and the coaches and the referees. Some of the clubs that I'm contracted with right now through my program, we've got some checks and balances that are put in place, and they're very simple to put in there. It could be from controlling the sides of where the people are sitting with the teams to a couple of basic things. Some of the clubs that I deal with actually do parent meetings twice a season, and they lay down the laws. Basically, they also make them sign a contract, a basic contract that FYSA has that basically states code of conduct and all that.
Yeah, we do
And
that. We do
then,
that
you know, you hold them accountable for it, and you make one or two examples, and
Yep.
that's it.
You're with me on the
Hey,
example.
I know
thing.
that you're friends for IRSA.
have a
You are
few.
outside the fence.
I could tell you that this year, unfortunately, there have been, Royal Palm's been pretty good. I haven't had any complaints about Royal Palm's programs, but there have been some programs. Boynton Beach, we've had a couple. We've had a lot in Wellington this year, and a lot down south where there have been issues because the clubs didn't have stuff in place. And one of the clubs that I assigned for, which is the Boca Predators, had to go in there and straighten their mess out because of the same thing where we had parents coming over and hassling coaches and referees and everything else. So we had to put some checks and balances in place there too.
Right. Well, we have a policy where I have been appointed as the jerk, and and I have to and I have to fend people off, and no, good. Then this is why, like I said, new ideas, new thoughts up here. You know, good. This is what we want. If there's nothing else, I mean, Ron, you don't have anything for us?
Just confirm, October what?
Oh, well, hey, and I'm not going to hold them to that. I mean, that's because Mark's not even sure of a start date.
You have
Couple months.
4 months to confirm, okay?
Because all I have asked is if we can, whenever you guys hear something, just kind of give us a heads up, because we have to scatter around and trying to figure things out. It's not just for the recreation program, but I'd like to be able to, you know, what I'm planning on doing for the competitive games, like our home games, like front load them for, you know, August, September, until whenever the thing gets done, and then backload them until after the project's done also. for
And if
home
there's any
games.
winter, they'd have to just go
We're
somewhere
going to
else.
front load the games if that's what you decide to do.
Front home games.
For the
front
home
load
games, we're going to have to reach out to the leagues very early, very, very early, all of them, because unfortunately, with the way the leagues work, once they set their schedules, with the exception of South Florida, most of them will not let you change schedules. And I can tell
Oh,
you,
no, we change them all the time. Oh, no.
We
300 times the schedule.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
mess around quite, that's why he's retiring.
That's why he's like, I
he's
can't take it anymore.
like FSPL, they frown on it, so they give you a
Yeah,
hard time.
FSPL, that's different, FSPL, yeah.
Yeah.
Game 100, you're gonna reschedule 40 times. Trust me. Right, Vanessa?
Yes.
And they don't show up at the game, sorry.
Yeah, this past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't think any of our teams have played a game. All the other teams are like
Forfeit.
forfeiting. And that's because of that stupid rule of having tryouts at the beginning of May.
Yep.
You
So
you
what I
try out
did-
the first week in May, and then they expect teams to continue playing after that when they
Here's what ended
lost
up
half of
happening.
their team.
So in Boynton Beach and in a couple of the clubs that pulled that nonsense, we did hold them accountable, and they had to pay all the referee fees and all the fees that went
Yep.
along with them, and I was playing collection agent all week.
Yeah,
But,
that's how we, that's
Every Saturday and Sunday,
scheduler, collection agent over there.
Well, with the FSPL ones, those were the easiest ones, because it was, you got till 5 o'clock
Yeah.
today to sell the money
Yeah.
over otherwise, and that was it.
All right,
do the
good,
same.
good.
The same.
Yep,
All the leagues we have.
all the leagues, we say that too.
All right, good.
No changing
Well,
after
welcome
Monday.
Bill, welcome Diego, and welcome Rocco. Looking forward to another year, and hopefully we just remain as successful as we've been. So thank you for everybody for what you guys do, actually do. So, all righty.
Motion to adjourn the competitive part of the meeting at 7:22 PM.
I second that.
All righty, we are adjourned.
Okay.